Our next speaker is Mr. Dousti. Mr. Dousti reached out to me and asked that Council take a position on issues in Iran, and I spoke to the idea that Council typically does not have capacity to deal with international affairs, but invited him to perhaps bring the light to this issue. And so, Mr. Dousti, if you'd like to tell us more about what's going on in Iran, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. My first name is Peyman. I have 3 last names, ADL DOUSTI HAGH. I have been living in Mission since 2004. Before I go any further, I want to thank Elisa and Mr. Mike Yonen for helping me. She helped me with the technicality. Also, we were talking about the angle of my project, that how it feels with the local government. I also spoke with City Councillor Ken Harrell. We talked about human rights at the local, national, and international level. It was very enlightening for me. The speech has 2 bodies. One body is the speech itself, is about 5 minutes, and the other part of it is question and answering time. You may ask me a question, and I don't have an answer for it because it's a complex situation. And it is written in the language of sociopolitics. Dear esteemed Mission District delegates, it's a great honor and privilege to appear before you to speak with you about the 2022 revolution in Iran, which has been unfolding for the past few weeks. If the 2022 revolution in Iran is successful, it will lead to global peace and prosperity. The purpose of this speech is the following. Iranians inside of Iran are asking Iranians in the diaspora to be their voice for women, life, and freedom. They're sending a clear message to the world that the 2022 revolution in Iran is the culmination of feminism and Karl Marx's theory of the proletarian revolution. What Iranians are saying in Iran is the experience of 43 years living under non-functional fascism, a functional totalitarian regime, and the Machiavellian doctrine of fear, fraud, and force, which does not have their consent or approval, nor does this cruel regime. The head of state of Iran is Ali Khamenei, who rules Iranians without the principles of peace, order, and good government. What Iranians are asking for from the outside world is not different from what Canadians or European countries do. They want to live in a civil society where the rule of law has the final word. Iranians do not want the bullets of security force of the failed state in Iran to determine how people can live. Canada does not have a geographical connection with Europeans and Middle Eastern countries. Most importantly, the Iranian dictatorship has created a psychological disconnect from the rest of the world. But it is unnatural to have a psychological disconnect because the association is essential. On Thursday, November 2nd, 2022, I listened to his worship, the mayor of Mission, Paul Horn, who said the people of Mission love their city and outsiders are welcome to live among them. We live in a global village where everything is connected. When Russia invaded Ukraine, the European countries imposed economic sanctions against Russia. In return, the supply of fossil fuels were reduced in the global market, and the demand for fossil fuels increased. Therefore, the price of goods began to go upward. On top of that, Ukraine supplies 16% of global wheat, but it's unable to export to wheat worldwide. Consequently, it causes global inflation. The rogue state in Iran sells drones to Russia to wage its terror campaign against the people of Ukraine. The US has its F-35 jet fighters battle ready. The world does not have to move in this direction. We have other options on the table that we can use by writing letters to the United Nations, the European Union, and the Prime Minister of Canada, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, and illustrate them as following. the Islamic Republic of Iran has breached Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The principles of present convention shall be respect for inherent dignity, individual autonomy, including the freedom to make one's own choices, and independence of person, non-discrimination, full and effective participation and inclusion in society, respect for differences and acceptance of persons with disabilities as part of human diversity and humanity, equality of opportunity, accessibility, equality between man and woman, respect for the evolving capacities of children with disabilities, and respect for the right of children with disabilities to preserve their identities. Therefore, we must demand that the Islamic Republic of Iran must release all political prisoners from its prisons at once. The Islamic Republic of Iran must abolish capital punishment. No country in the world to sell any weapons to the regime in Iran. The Islamic Republic of Iran has no longer represent consent and the will of Iranians to govern them. Therefore, the Islamic Republic of Iran must step down as the state of Iran. It was kind of you to listen to me, and I hope you will use the tools I have provided. Please use them, and several years from now, when you look back and ask yourself how you help humankind to live in a better world, you will remember how you sent emails to United Nations, European Union, and Prime Minister of Canada on that day. Thank you. Floor is open for question. I may answer it.
Thank you. Members of council, any questions for Mr. Dousti? Seeing none, I'll simply say thank you to you, sir, for your coming tonight and for making us aware of what's going on. I believe it's important that individual citizens speak up and speak to their federal representatives where there's a capacity for understanding the best steps to take in international relations. As you and I spoke of before, at the local level, we don't have any of that expertise or capacity. We're focused on things like plowing streets and making sure the water runs. But it's important for these things to be dealt with, and if people listening tonight feel that they would like to act in accordance with what you've suggested, we encourage them to do so.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, next we have a presentation.
May I say one thing, please? May I say one thing? May I make one statement before I leave?
I suppose,
If it's okay, I say.
come forward again and wrap up.
The reason I came to the local government, I know the local government is focuses on refusal or issues in that matter. It's very local. But what is unfolding in Iran is a grassroots movement. And I'm trying to raise the awareness that the suggestions that I made to people inspire them and take an initiative to take side with the people of Iran. Thank you for giving me appear before everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.